Glad everyone could make it. Glad everyone could join us here and talk about their 2024 plan. Drop a one in the chat if you have done some planning for 2024, especially in regards to your lead generation and marketing efforts. Augie, I'm gonna make you a co-host, Augie. So if anything happens, um, you'll still be able to chat if I have any internet issues or anything. As some people doing some yearly planning. It's that time, right? Like we got to get ready. Why do It's just a question that why do so many why do so many business owners, let's not just say contractors, wait until the next year is already like moving, right? You're into January, February, and you're like, oh my goodness, I got to start thinking about this, right? I got to start planning what I'm doing, figuring out what I'm going to do this year. It's a very strange, thing to me. So thank you for joining. That tells me that you guys are intentional about your businesses, right? You want your businesses to grow. So I appreciate everyone jumping on. And today we got a lot to cover, but we're gonna talk about goal setting. We're gonna talk about the three core fundamentals of marketing success. We're gonna talk about how to optimize your website for conversions. We're gonna talk about the big picture of all of your online marketing efforts, the channels you should be tapping into to maximize your lead flow.
Catherine, got the phone.
Donovan Morgan's in the house. Roofs by Don. How are you?
Hey, everything's going good.
We're going to talk about some latest trends that you need to focus on, and we're going to hopefully get you in a position where you can develop a custom action plan going into 2024. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Jim Aline. I'll go through this quick. I'm the marketing coach at Adam Bensman's Pitch Pro Movement. I'm the host of the Roofing Success podcast. We're ICO Roof Pro partners. I speak for them around the country at their Roof Pro events, part of the Limitless GPO organization, written 2 books on digital marketing for internet marketing for roofing contractors. And we are Roofer Marketers is a digital marketing agency. That's what we do every day for roofing contractors. So let's start off with a quick question. What is the hardest thing about marketing your roofing company online? What are the biggest challenges that you've run into with marketing your roofing company online? You could drop it in the chat. If you feel brave, unmute, go ahead and unmute and let's have that conversation. Like I said, this is workshop style. I know Roofs by Don over there has no problem at all, right?
I'm here to learn. You can always learn more. I'm trying to learn from
What
the
are the
best.
what are the things that you face, man? What are the challenges that you run into
I mean,
on the
I
digital
guess I'm just
side
always
mainly? Like,
I guess I'm just always trying to be better. So I'm trying to find out how I can, what am I missing? How I can get more leads. I'm coming
yep,
through. Things like that.
cool. Bryson, another the awesome guests from the Roofing Success podcast, said ranking in the top 3 in different areas. So when you say different areas, Bryson, are you talking a lot like in the maps in different areas?
Yeah, I guess like maps, just I don't know, like there's different areas that I know that myself and I'm sure like other contractors really like to be in.
Yeah, for sure.
They only might even be like maybe 15, 20 minutes away. And, guys that are like right there always rank higher, even though they might not be like the same caliber of a company as you are. So
Most of the time they're not, right? If you believe they're
yeah,
the same caliber, then if you ever believe that your competitors are the same caliber of you, then you should probably just give up, because we all should be a little cocky about the about what we do, right? Like
yeah,
and be sold on our services. So that's the proximity effect of Google, right? We could definitely talk about that, right? Lots of different things. So lots of different things. Some of the things that I see most often, that a lot of times, especially when you're getting things going, there's just so many options, right? Like, so it's like, man, what should I start with? Where should I put my budget? where, do I allocate money to SEO? Do I allocate money to Google local services ads? Do I do Google pay-per-click advertising? Do I do direct mail, right? Do I buy some billboards? We don't have to just talk about digital here. We could talk about marketing as a whole. We're really, our true belief is that you should have an omnipresent framework and be in as many places as possible. So, a lot of times that's what we see, right? So you have your SEO, you have your Google ads, you have your Facebook ads, you have the dreaded home advisor, right? You have all of these different options. You have your social media, all of these different options. See, to me, I've heard multiple times over and over again that this is a struggle for contractors. Another thing is it's a major investment. So if you're, if you can, drop in the chat, right? So if you have a revenue goal next year, say of whatever your revenue goal is, drop in the chat what percentage of that revenue goal you have planned to invest in your marketing efforts. Drop that in the chat. Let me drop. I had to mute someone real quick. If you don't know, you just put "don't know" or a question mark or something like that. Just drop that in there. Chris says 5%. Bryson, not sure. Right? It's hard to know, right? Like it's hard to get that. Like you'll hear all of the industry standards, right? Industry standards 5%. Like if we took the whole industry as a whole, 5% would probably be the industry standard in marketing budgets. Dylan said historically been around 2% on marketing, looking to go to 5%. Adam says 5 to 10%, right? So this is what we're talking about. And so there's a major investment in marketing, and sometimes how many of you have run into that you've invested this and you ended up with not much to show for it, right? A lot of times, we feel like maybe we made the wrong investment in our marketing, right? And so that's a big challenge. So a failure around your marketing is not having a clear plan, right? That's really where I feel the failure becomes, is not having a clear plan, which could put you in a position where you overspend on your marketing. But there's another aspect of it that I want everyone to understand, is that there's an even worse aspect that can happen, is that you underspend on your marketing. That means, to me, that to kind of clarify that is in underspending on your marketing, it means that you didn't build enough momentum, right? You get to the end of the year and you're like, oh my goodness, man, we missed the mark. But if you have a clear plan up front, Donovan says they spend 1% on marketing, right? 1% of their marketing may be enough if you're doing all of the other efforts. So this is that kind of conundrum of marketing spend for the roofing industry, right? If you're in a storm restoration market and you bang doors, and that is your number one lead source, is door to door. Hey, we pull our hail trace, our hail recon, and we're at the doors, right? You may not have as large of an investment in that marketing, right? And so for Goat for Sales down there in Atlanta, right? Like they're door-to-door specialists, right? You guys are, you may not have to invest as much in your marketing, but that 1% goes to that Atlanta Hawks sponsorship that you have, right? So that
exactly.
you get that brand awareness going along, so that when you show up at the door, hey, I know I've heard of you guys before, right? So there's a lot of aspects to it. If you are in a full retail market, no storms coming through, you're going to be on the higher end. You're probably going to be in that 5%, 7%, 10%. So you'll have to determine what market you're in. In a full retail market, you're going to have to invest more to get people to know you, because you don't know who needs your help as easily as you do in a storm restoration market. Drop a 1 in the chat if that makes sense, right? Like in a storm restoration market, we know who needs our help. So it's much easier to get to those customers. It's much easier to create a direct interaction with those customers. In a retail market, we don't know as easily who needs our help. So you have to invest more money to get them to know that you're the right company to call. So all of these issues though lead to the opportunity, and it's the opportunity that you can take that others are not, right? So if you have a clear plan with goals, targets, and KPIs that you're measuring on a regular basis, you're going to be ahead of 99% of your competition, right? If you generate enough leads to hit your goals and grow your business, you're on the right track. If you can create a good return on investment by understanding how to invest in marketing, what to invest in marketing, and how to measure that, you're going to be way, way ahead of the competition. So success in this, right? Success in developing your plan for next year is maximizing your lead flow and hitting your sales goals. But we all have to start first with the end in mind. So we have to start with clear goals, right? I think a couple of people dropped in the chat that they've been doing they've been doing some planning, right? They've been doing some assessment of what we want to accomplish in 2024. And so there's a great quote that I love from Brian Tracy, great sales trainer, business trainer, coach over the years. Success is goals, all else is commentary, right? If we don't know the direction that we're going, it's like being on a sailboat in the ocean with no wind. We're going to end up somewhere. We just don't know where that is, right? So if we are going to end up somewhere, let's choose our path, right? Let's choose the path that we want to take. And then if we end up within a variable of that goal, man, that's a good place to be. Maybe a little under, maybe a little over, but you're going to hit, but you're going to end up in a much better place if you put the wind in your sails by determining what you need to do. So let's talk a little bit about goal setting first here. Make sure I have everyone in. Oh. Let's see it. All right, cool. So, there's Damien. All right. So we need to have a written goal and plan. At a minimum, you need to know your 2024 goal, right? As you start to look into or think about your goals, the longer out your goals go, the more unrealistic and unsure, right? It's much more unclear. But 1 year, you can really tighten up 1 year and say, this is our goal. Then we pull that back into quarterly goals. All of you are in different markets with different seasonality, right? Storms come through one market versus another market in many different ways, different times of the year. So we need to adjust those for quarterly goals. When is our high seasons and low seasons? We need to then break that down into monthly goals and continue to break that down, right? I am in Minneapolis, Minnesota right now. And we are having a great winter. It's going to be like 50 degrees today, which is, I think my son was wearing shorts to school today because he's a Minnesota boy. But like come, it won't be very long here where we will not be able to do any work. And really, a lot of the contractors in the area are already winded down. We're getting down into the 30s, much too cold to install shingles and things like that. So then going into January and February, boy, we know we're not doing any work, right? So we know that in January and February in Minnesota, that's not when we're planning, right? That's when we're preparing. That's not when if we spread our goal out and say, oh, we're going to do $1 million a month or $500,000 a month, and we take into account that January as $500,000, we're not being realistic, right? So be realistic, have a stopping point at the beginning of each quarter. Look back, reflect, how are you doing? Make adjustments as you're going along. So start with what your revenue target is, right? Break that down into what that is monthly, and then how many calls that will require and what is your average job value. So we're loving inflation. So this, I probably put these numbers in a couple of years ago. We're loving inflation right now because your average job value is probably not 12,500 anymore. I know in the Minneapolis area here, it's much higher. But let's say your revenue target is 3 million, right? That's $250,000 a month. If your average job value is 12.5, that means you need 20 jobs per month. If I'm tracking, drop a 1 in the chat, right? Now we need to know, this is where we need to take some time and reflect on past data. So we look at what is your average conversion rate from caller to booked call, and then divide that to determine your conversion rate. So if your conversion rate from new lead to closed job is 25%, then to get 20 jobs, we know that you need 80 leads a month. Has anyone ever done this and broken this down? Yes or no? Drop a Y or an N in the chat. Chris Bishop. Dylan has done it. Nate's done it, right? This is an extremely impactful exercise because now you have something to measure against, right? You need to have something to measure against. If you don't have anything to measure against, you don't really know, right? So in these early stages, if you really don't have good data, because a lot of us don't, right? A lot of us don't have good historical data. If you don't have that data, make it up for now, right? Make a good estimate, make your best guess, make an educated guess at your conversion rates, and then work it backwards from there. I would always err on the conservative side when you're doing these numbers, right? There's a great book by Grant Cardone. I'm not a huge fan of Grant Cardone, but I love the concept of this book. It's the 10X rule. And so if you feel that you need 100 leads to get the jobs that you need to hit your goal, then go get 1,000. And if you go get 1,000 leads, if you 10X what you think you need, you're guaranteed to get where you need to go, right? So always err on the conservative side when you're developing these goals if you don't have true, accurate data. So here's just another example, right? Annual goal 5 million, that's 416 a month. Average job value 25, right? If the conversion rate's 30%, if the average cost per lead generated is $100 across all of the different lead channels that you have, then you need a budget of 11,700. So now we're going from our revenue goal, we're breaking that down into our estimated lead volume that we need. And now we're breaking that down into the actual budget that we need for those goals. So for those of you, I know that was kind of quick. We got to keep this moving today, but drop your goal or drop the number of leads. If you did a quick calculation, while we were doing that, drop the number of leads that you need per month on average in the chat for that. So now once you have that, right? Once you know your goal, once you have your KPIs, once you know what you're hitting for, what your goals are, now we need to look at what we're going to say to people, how we're going to communicate with our audience, with our customers, with our potential customers to get them to raise their hand with us versus someone else, right? So we're going to start by updating your marketing message. So with your marketing message, the fundamentals of your marketing message are the market that you are selling into. That's the who. Who are you selling to? The message is what you are saying to them or conveying through your marketing materials, marketing efforts. And then the media is the delivery method of how you are delivering that message to those potential customers. So to understand this first, we need to understand who your ideal customer is. Do you know who your ideal customer is? Is everyone your customer? Get a couple of shaking heads here, right? Like, no, not everyone is your customer, right? If you are not a commercial roofing contractor, would you put out messaging in your marketing material? This is just an easy one, right? Like, would you talk about being the best commercial roofing contractor in your area if you don't do commercial roofing? No, right? Like, that's an extreme example, right? But like, why, if you're up here on the roof making videos about metal roofing and you don't do metal roofing, you're not speaking to your ideal customer, right? So we need to speak to our ideal customer. We could get even more detailed on this. This is called a customer avatar or a buyer persona. So what we're going to look at are 4 things. We're going to start with the demographics of this person. Then we're going to move to the pains and frustrations. So the demographics of a retail, residential roofing customer, a lot of times are that, of course, they're a homeowner, right? They're not a renter. They're, say, 35 years of age or older. The decision maker, a lot of times we found, is typically female, occasionally male, maybe married, 2 to 3 kids, had a household. They have a certain annual income. This will vary dependent on the market that you're in. You know, they're family oriented, they're reliable, they're not handy, right? You don't, what's that old quote where you like, if I do it and you you get to participate, I charge more, or something like that. Like, there's a whole quote about that. Oh, hopefully that I butchered that a lot. That was a real butchering of that one. But you know, those handy people are maybe not your best customer, right? The persons that's out there standing in the yard the whole day talking to your crew and asking them what they're doing and all that. You know, well, I like, you know, they like gardening, maybe crafts, arts. They live in the suburbs, maybe take an interest in their community. Their pains and frustrations at the time that they reach out to you or are looking for your services, you know, maybe they have a roof leak. You know, maybe there's shingles in the yard. Maybe there's so many things that could be happening that there's a pain and frustration about. There is, they can't get a roofing company on the phone. Go ahead, call the companies in your area, test it out, see how many answer, see how many book an appointment on that first call. Like, you'll get some good information if you do that. Need to get a roofing issue resolved, right? They're too busy to deal with it. They're worried that the situation could cause, it could be unhealthy for their family and cause future damage. Then we move into the third item, and that's their fears and implications. They have a fear of being ripped off, right? Every city has this person. I lived in Denver for a lot of years. Denver has Tom Martino, or maybe not anymore, but they had Tom Martino, the troubleshooter. And Tom Martino would go and find all of those contractors that were ripping off grandma, right? And he would tear them apart, right? So people are seeing this. They feel like they may be ripped off or overcharged. They may pay too much for something that they could have gotten elsewhere for a better value. They're worried about having their home damaged by faulty workmanship. They're worried about being inconvenienced, right? Having to wait around. They're worried that it may cause more damage to the home, and they're worried that it is something that they can't afford, right? Americans do not save, and they're definitely not saving for a roof, right? If they are saving that, that car money, that vacation money, that boat money, they don't want to write that check for a roof, right? If they have money in the bank, right? So that bill, these are things that if you understand this about your customer, your message can be clear to them. You understand their goals and desires, that they need to get their roof fixed. They want these issues behind them. They want to take care of their family. They want, to live in a nicer home. They want to drive a nicer car. They want to keep their kids healthy. All of these things. They want to spend more time with family, and they want peace of mind. If we understand the goals of our customers, we can speak to them, right? So that's how you identify your perfect customer. In your business, you're going to have multiple customer avatars. So you can have a residential retail roofing customer avatar, right? You can have a residential storm restoration customer avatar. You can have a commercial roofing customer avatar, but maybe in that commercial roofing customer avatar, that avatar could be around maintenance work. So that avatar is around a property manager. It may be around bid work, so that avatar is that general contractor that you're doing bid work for on some on commercial new construction, right? A metal roofing contractor, commercial or residential. So you can have multiple different avatars. And I promise you, if you take time to understand who you're talking to, the message to them will be much clearer. If you can see through Joe Jones' eyes, then you can sell what Joe Jones buys, right? It's a succinct way to put it. If you understand your customers' needs and desires and goals and their fears, if you truly understand that, it makes the sale much easier. If you agree with that, put a 1 in the chat. Now that we know who we're talking to, we need to know what to say to them, right? So a quick exercise that you can do is just write down, I have 3 of each here, but write down as many things as possible. You can do this exercise with your team also. Do it on a morning stand-up or something like that. And just have everyone list out every reason that anyone can think of as crazy or little or big as possible, right? Why would someone do business with you versus the competition? And then what benefits do you offer that customer that will resonate with them? And so you match all of these things up to help develop your messaging. Some of the standard messaging that does work, right? It's standard messaging that speaks to that customer avatar, especially a retail. This is more for retail or even a storm restoration. Free inspection, free estimate. We all do it, right? Everyone here probably offers it. If you offer a paid inspection or paid estimate for a residential re-roof, put we charge in the chat, because there's not very many, right? Straightforward or upfront pricing. That communicating that, right? If their fear, let's go back here, their fear is being ripped off or overcharged, right? So if you can communicate to them that your pricing is straightforward, that it's very transparent, satisfaction guaranteed, great warranties, right? So depending on the shingle manufacturer you use, that's your materials warranty. How many of you offer a lifetime Bryson charges? That nice. How many of you offer a lifetime workmanship warranty? No, yeah. Put a 1 in the, say if you don't. If you don't offer a lifetime warranty, put a 1 in the chat. I want to know who you are. I want to see you. Donovan Morgan, you do not offer a lifetime warranty. Let's do this, brother. Unmute if you can. I want to talk to you right now. Where are you?
Yes, sir.
There you are. There you are. My man. No lifetime workmanship warranty for Roofs by Don.
No.
If a homeowner called you 15 years from now, Don, and they're like, man, Don, something happened here, would you go out and check it out?
Yes.
If it was something that your team did, would you fix it?
Most likely, yes.
If it was 30 years from now, would you? If it was when we're talking about workmanship warranties, right? When we're talking about workmanship, right? If our team screwed up, like, not that a workmanship warranty, and will a workmanship warranty show up 20 years down the road? Or will a workmanship warranty usually come to light much faster than that?
It's usually much faster.
Much faster, right? But what kind of peace of mind will that homeowner have if you use the word lifetime instead of 5 years? Right? So it's all in the messaging, right? So thank you for participating, my man. But just for everyone to think about that, right? Just make people feel comfortable with it. If you are a real Man, if you're an ethical business owner, if it's your fault, you're gonna fix it. You're gonna make it right. You know what I mean? So why not express that? Make people feel that. Making sure, a lot of people are, especially in storm restoration markets, they want to know that you're local, right? They want to know that you're going to be there. Again, it kind of goes to the workmanship, the warranties, right? They want to know that you're going to be there if they have a problem down the road, right? This is all of the things that this speaks to, that you have financing options for them. Again, no one wants to buy a roof. There's nobody that's like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to save my money to get that new ICO dynasty. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not happening. So, making the case. So, frictionless process, right? Understanding that, fast estimates is something that people want. We are in the buy it now era, right? 1-day delivery by Amazon. It used to be 2-day. Now they claim, now they just call it Prime, and sometimes it gets there in 4 days, but fast, same day. Like, how quickly can you solve their problem? Money saving offers, people will love to respond to money saving offers, again, because can they afford it? Can they not afford it? Explaining and having the conversation about the care that you take to make to return their home to normal, right? Leaving the job site squeaky clean. Making sure to put that out in your messaging. I guarantee you can make social media posts about this all the time. Look at how many times we swept this yard with the magnet to make sure that there were no nails in Mr. and Mrs. Jones's home because their kids are going to go out and play later, tomorrow, right? Like, those are the types of things that you can talk about. Experience, proven track record, great service, guaranteed. In the 180 episodes that I've done on the Roofing Success podcast now, one of the most common themes in out of everyone that has found success is their care for customers. It is that they worked for a company that they felt didn't do, like, they just weren't serving the customers in the way that they felt they could, and they opened up their own business, right? And so making sure that you express that in your marketing messaging. So we got the market, we got the message, now we got the media, right? How do we portray, or how do we get this message to your perfect customer? So I would contest that your website is the hub of all of your marketing efforts, right? That's the basis of things. So that's your hub. So on your hub, and your website being the hub, all of the marketing that you are doing, the foundation that you build needs to be on your website, because that's where people are going to visit to look you up. Maybe you're running some ads that drive them to your website. There's different things, right? They see your yard sign, they Google your company, they look at your reviews on your Google business profile, and they go to your website to see if you're a professional company. So we want to make sure that your website converts and is set up to convert those visitors to callers. So making sure that it's mobile friendly, right? Making sure that you have proper calls to action, that you are speaking to the fears of that customer. Proud to offer a lifetime craftsmanship warranty, right? The trusted Twin Cities roofing contractor, the over 250 5-star reviews, convenient financing, hail damage, we help with your insurance claim, right? So all of these things are speaking to the homeowner, speaking to the customer. I know it's a little hard to see on here. All of this, the Better Business Bureau rating, the Google rating, the Home Advisor top rating, the OC Platinum Preferred Contractor badge, the Mastic Elite Contractor badge, all of these things are there to invoke trust in that homeowner. It's to speak to them in that way. And pictures of your team, being authentic. So We want to ask, does it speak to your target avatar, right? Does it speak to their fears? Does it have authentic images of your team throughout the website, especially on the homepage? Can you include video elements? If you're shooting video, include video on your website. I know this is a lot of words. Does it showcase your online reviews, right? Does it make it easier for them to take action? Is there a phone number that it amazes me how many businesses play hide and seek with their phone number on their website, right? You got to scroll all the way down, and all this is down in the bottom, in the footer, in the corner, in little tiny font. Like, make that right up front, right in their face. All of the things that you want them to do, all of the calls to action need to be right there, right in their face, that they cannot miss. Does it showcase your online reviews? Does it make it easy for them to take action? Having your phone number in the upper right-hand corner, having a web form for them, having chat, all of these things allow you to engage with them. Giving them the opportunity to communicate with you the way that they want to communicate. So the phone number for the people who want to call, the form submission for people who want to submit a form and get a call back, the chat for someone to chat with you instantly. Maybe you include like an online quoting tool like Roofle, right? Because someone just wants a roofing quote quickly, right? Like, if you give them all of the options, but the basics are form submission, phone call, and web chat. Those three are the main ones that you need to leverage that. And then you need automations to convert them into actual leads. So the biggest challenge that we see is optimizing those conversion rates. Unconverted leads. Here's some stats. 50 to 60% of inbound leave unconverted, right? Like, so if they leave, if 90% of web forms just fail, like, you're going to get nothing from it. Someone fills out a web form, 1 out of 10 sometimes are what converts. And the reason for that is that leads go cold within 5 minutes. There's this statistic that if you do not reach out to the person within 5 minutes, if you don't have them on the phone in 5 minutes, there is an 80% less chance that you will ever get a hold of that person, right? So this is why I see contractors that, and I know there's like lead aggregators like Home Advisor and Thumbtack and different things like that. If you're working that type of lead, my goodness, you may have 30 seconds, right? For someone that knows who you are, maybe they go fill out a web form, man, you want to be on them within 5 minutes, right? The average customer must be followed up with 5 to 7 times before they book if they fill out a form. A lot of times they fill out a form, they're at work, they're busy, and they need someone to just remind them again, oh yeah, I meant to call these guys. I meant to schedule an appointment. And today's customer prefers to interact via text message versus phone call. So leveraging automated follow-up with web forms within the first 2 minutes of submission via phone, email, and text message. That's what we try to accomplish. Automate the follow-up so that every prospect is touched at least 5 times and able to engage with you via two-way chat. So when we're making sure our hub converts, right? We have our hub, we have our website, we have our landing pages for all of our paid activity. And then we're running that through a system that helps to increase that speed to lead, just to make it succinct for you guys, right? So now a lead comes in from LSAs, it comes in from Google ads, Facebook ads, it's a Home Advisor lead, wherever the lead comes in from, right away, they're either getting a phone call or a text message. Our system, Contractor Boost, generates a phone call initially, right? So we try to call them. If they don't answer, they get a text message and an email. Then we wait a few minutes, 10 minutes or so. They get another text message, another email, and we continue this process for 5 to 7 lead touches, depending on the channel. Even down the road, if you are not getting a response from them, Then maybe you start asking them, hey, would you like to self-schedule? Would you like to give them some other opportunities to engage with you? But the automated follow-up is there in the systems that you use. We're a Job Nimbus. We are owned by Job Nimbus. You have Engage, right? Engage is something that you can set up in automations to have that automated text go out. In Contractor Boost, we have all of our full suite of automations of email, text, phone calls, all that type of stuff. So there's plenty of systems out there that will allow you to do this. So if you don't use ours, use something, because the technology is there. And I know that this is a crazy math, right? It's crazy math here. If you have a conversion rate of 30% on 100 leads, average ticket of 10,000, that's 300,000 in revenue. If you can squeeze the juice, right? And I know 70% is crazy, but if you could squeeze the juice to 70% for illustrative purposes, that's more than double your revenue. I don't know if I have a slide in here for this, but one of our clients that we work with, MHI Roofing, has achieved, I think they're in the mid to low 50% range from lead to closing, because they have put so many of these processes in place. So now what that does, right? If your conversion rates are higher, it makes every lead more valuable. Understand, there's an old adage, the company that can pay the most for a customer will win, right? So if you have a higher conversion rate, you're willing to bid higher in your pay-per-click ads. You're willing to spend more, invest more in your marketing efforts, because you are confident that you're going to turn that into cash flow for your business. I like to say that if you have faith in the outcome, you will execute. So if you guys don't have faith in your sales process, if you don't have faith in the person that's answering the phone and setting those leads, it's going to be more challenging to invest in your marketing, because you don't have faith that it's going to generate income, right? You have to have all of these processes in place. So we'll take a quick pause, drop a couple of thoughts in the chat here of some takeaways. What'd you learn? What'd you notice? What do you like? What would you like to share from that? And then we'll move on and start working on building out our KPIs and our plan for the year. I'll give everyone a couple of minutes. I know it's a lot. While we're on here, as one of the participants is one of our sales development reps, Augie, August Amon. So if you have any questions, feel free to chat him. If you're interested in anything that we do, or seeing what we can do for you from the lead generation perspective, from the marketing perspective, and how that integrates into your Job Nimbus and things like that, go ahead and message Augie there. All right. So as everyone kind of thought about that, we'll start to move on again. The next thing that we need to do is know and track our ROI, right? Our KPIs. So in the beginning, we looked at our goal setting. We looked at, hey, this is the revenue that we want to hit. We broke that down into the lead flow that we feel we will need to achieve that, right? So now on an ongoing basis, we need to understand the lead flow that's coming into our business. So this is an example of kind of the way that we've built out our KPI reports. You can do something very similar. So we show total leads, appointments booked, cost per lead, and total spend, right? That's what we're looking at on a high level, on a month-to-month basis. And then we're looking at where the lead flow is coming from. Is it coming from your Google business profile, from other lead sources, from Google ads, from your website, from chat, from Facebook ads, from organic? We're just measuring that on an ongoing basis. The more poles you have in the water, more lines you have out, the more consistent your lead flow gets over time. 1 month, your Facebook ads may be better than your Google ads. The next month, your SEO perform better than your this, that, right? And so on an ongoing basis, you're just pulse checking. You're like, okay, this is where we are. But what we're going to do is continue to look at that lifetime to make sure that we're in the right direction. Then the next thing that you could do, if you're a Jobnimus customer, we integrate into your sales insights, and even just using sales insights is going to be very powerful for you. But knowing your lead flow into sales insights by the lead source, and then being able to track down to the specific revenue that was generated from that lead source, right? So a lot of times, and it was one of the biggest challenges we had as a digital marketing agency, is that like the lead hits your CRM and we would lose all sight of it. We never knew what happened after that unless you told us. Now we have the ability to track it all the way through. So you're tracking your phone calls. Use call tracking. Use form tracking. Use all the tools necessary. Let me all right, mute that. Good. Thank you. And then track that down by lead source all the way to the closed sales data in your pipeline. Now I want to ask a question here. If your customer acquisition cost on a Google ads lead is higher than a Facebook ads lead, do you cut off all Google ads and only do Facebook? Yes or no? Throw Y or N in the chat. No, right? It just has to fit into your optimal customer acquisition cost and in relation to the long-term value of your customer. So make sure to do what we call the marketing stack and continue to add marketing channels. You can make them more efficient over time, but add marketing channels, don't take away from. So we have our clear goal, our target. We have clarity around our market, our media, our message. We want to make sure our website and lead flow process is optimized for conversion. We want to make sure we have some KPIs in place that we're measuring on an ongoing basis. Let's talk about some key trends going into 2024. Key trends in 2024 is, you must have an all-in perspective. You got to be omnipresent in our word, right? You got to be the best known roofer, right, Don? It's part of it. Becoming the best known in your area is not running the best Facebook ads. It's not having the best Google ads. It's not having the best SEO. All of those are components to your success. So work on an omnipresent framework. Adam Bensman and I have done a webinar a couple times. We call it the everywhere framework, right? So if you think about it through the customer journey of your in a roofing customer, they start with awareness. Well, how'd they get aware of you? How did they become aware of you? Maybe they became aware of you, through SEO, through your SEO efforts. Maybe they became aware of you through your Facebook efforts. Maybe they became aware of you because you're shooting video and posting organically on Facebook. Maybe they became aware of you because they were driving down the street and they saw you doing building a roof on their neighbor's house, right? Like they see the yard signs, they see the flags, they see your trucks. Maybe they just saw your truck at a gas station. Maybe they saw you at a local event and you just had a pop-up, a little 10 by 10 pop-up booth and you're giving out free stuff, right? There's so many ways for people to find you, but having that omnipresence in your market, Joseph Hughes from Contractor Dynamics calls it 5 mile famous, right? We want to become famous in our area. One thing will not work anymore. Video, and more video. use artificial intelligence is another thing that you can do. So video, please take this thing out of your pocket, turn it and point it at yourself and talk into it and post it on social media. As you get good reach on that post, if people start engaging with that post, you take that post and you turn it into a Facebook ad. It all goes together. Using artificial intelligence, Google Ads is all artificial intelligence and machine learning at this point. We feed Google Ads data. We tell them where we want them to go and find conversions, and then we optimize around the conversions that they find, and we tell the machine, go get us more of those. It's very similar in Facebook. So utilizing and getting used to the artificial intelligence, go get yourself a ChatGPT account. Just start typing stuff in there. Hey, develop an SOP for this for my company, and it'll spit something out and you'll be amazed. And then write a review response to this new review we got on our Google business profile. Boom, it writes a review. So starting to use the artificial intelligence in your business. If you're not, play with it. All right, some real customer results here. Prominent Construction here in the Twin Cities. We've been working with them forever, 2015. So what, 8 years now. When they started with us, they were at 2 million in revenue. Now they're in like 10, $12 million revenue range. I don't like Wayland Contracting. I'll skip over those quick because we do this every day. So let's build your plan. What are the top 3 initiatives that you are going to take to implement your goal? Let's take a second here, right? What are the top 3 initiatives that you're going to take to implement your goal? The reflection is impactful in your business. You need those start and stop dates. You need to take the time, work on your business, not in your business, right? There's so much to that statement, to the way that we need to think about these things. A lot of times we get caught in that day to day, but if we can plan what 2024 looks like and how we're going to adjust what we did last year and make things better. My philosophy in business is do something, then do something a little bit better than that, then do something a little bit better than that, then do something a little bit better than that, and continue to iterate along that process. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to look back at your company and it's going to look so different that it will be unrecognizable, but it will only be unrecognizable if you continue to make those iterations, if you are purposeful about the iterations of your business. All right, cool. We got some things popped in here. Bobby, I popped in this call late. Will this recording be sent out? It will. Yes, sir. Bryson, making decisions based off KPIs. Man, right? Like the numbers can lie in some cases. So being honest about the numbers too. We don't want to put our own feelings on the numbers of, well, we just haven't had a storm yet, or we haven't done this. Well, if you haven't had a storm yet, but you need to hit this lead flow, you got to find another way. Better get out there and do something about it, right? So using those KPIs to really decipher where you need to go in the future. So we set some goals. We talked about the 3 fundamentals of marketing success, the big picture, the latest trends to focus on, how to develop that custom plan. If you have not tuned into the Roofing Success podcast, please do. Based on today, I would definitely say check out the Donovan Morgan, Dan the Mansion episode, right? Check out those episodes. Check out the episodes that we filmed down at the roof gallery, and check out Bryson's episode also. Thank you guys for joining. It really is. It's amazing that the owners that find success are always looking to improve and do better, right? So So, you know, thanks for Don and Bryson for jumping on today. If anyone else is on that might have been on the podcast, let me know too. You know, feel free to shout yourself out. Damian from Superior, how are you, man? So if you need help with any of this, if you need help with, if you feel that you need help with generating the right lead flow for your business into 2024, reach out to us here, Roofer Marketers and Job Nimbus, roofermarketers.com, hit the book a call. Any other questions? Feel free to drop a question in the chat. We got 2 minutes left. If not, appreciate your time for the day. I hope this impacts your business into the future. If anyone's going to be down at Roofing Process Conference, we'll see you there next week. And if not, have a great holiday season, everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that. We'll talk to everyone soon.